the price of each device mentioned in this video are based off the used market. So if you're going to be buying from anyone or even plan on meeting any of these buyers face to face, be safe, I beg of you. All right, let's dive in. So first device on the list is 2019 Oppo Reno 2Z, going for about $250 to $300 on the used market. So this comes to a 6.53-inch AMOLED display with a massive 85% screen to body ratio, which is better than the iPhone 7s and 8s I talked about in my last few videos, link in the description. The front and back are made from Gorilla Glass 5 with an aluminum frame. Performance wise, this is rocking the MediaTek Helios P90 with 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gig worth of storage. This device has no water and dust resistance rating, so if you're going to be getting this device, you're definitely going to have to be very cautious of where you take it. This comes with a vertical triple camera setup, a 48 megapixel wide camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel BW camera as they said in their spec sheet. I have no idea what exactly that means, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. And also, before I forget, there's also a motorized 6 megapixel pop-up selfie camera. So yeah, pretty good addition if you ask me. So what are the pros and cons? All right, for the cons, like I said, this doesn't come with any IP, water and dust resistant rating, which really shouldn't be a big deal to some people. And finally, the video stabilization on this isn't as good as the newer devices. So if you're someone who's going to be going into a lot of video work like recording and stuff, yeah, you know what you're going in for. Let's talk about the pros. So the build quality is solid and high quality, majorly due to the Gorilla Glass and aluminum sides. Yeah, pretty good AMOLED display, but doesn't have a notch. For anyone who has something against the notch, this is a good device for you. The fingerprint scanner on the display is also very fast, but not always perfect. Great battery life with up to 20 watts fast charging, and overall the photo and video quality are like excellent. Next on the list, coming in at number 4, is the 2021 Xiaomi Poco X3 Pro, going for around $250 to $295 on the used market. Comes to a 6.6-inch IPS LCD display with up to 120Hz refresh rate, and it is a 1080 by 2400p panel with 84.6 screen to body ratio, which is massive if you ask me. The screen is made out of Gorilla Glass 6, while the back and sides from plastic. Inside is Snapdragon 860 with 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. It is IP53 dust and splash resistant. They didn't say water resistant though, but I think there's a difference. A very unique looking camera setup with a 48 megapixel wide camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, 2 megapixel macro, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. Also a massive 20 megapixel wide selfie camera at the front of the device. Alright, so what are the cons? First of all, this is a big device, pretty heavy too, weighing around 215 grams or more if you have like a case and screen protector. Users also complain about the screen response time being a little bit slow. That shouldn't be a problem, except you plan on doing some intense gaming on this. Alright, the pros. The Snapdragon chip here gives this a very good, or should I say top-notch performance, also having a 120Hz refresh rate. That makes this somewhat a good option for a gaming device. Loudspeakers, good cameras, and a very decent price for what you'll be getting from this device. So yeah. So third on the list is the 2018 flagship from Samsung, the Note 9, coming in for around $260 to $280 on the used market. This has a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED display with an 83% screen to body ratio. The front and back are made from Gorilla Glass 5 with aluminum rails, no hole punch or notch design, with an 8 megapixel wide selfie camera at the very top. Also, this comes with the Snapdragon 845 or the Exynos 9810 for other regions around the world, with a solid 6 gig of RAM. Also a dual camera setup having a 12 megapixel wide camera, 12 megapixel telephoto, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the cameras. So real quick, what are the cons of getting this device? So this is a pretty heavy device too, weighing about 200 grams. It was a little bit pricey during its launch, and based on comments from users, this has a very unattractive back design. But what are the pros? So first, the build quality is high end, mainly because this is a flagship device. Excellent battery life, great cameras, also one of the best displays on a smartphone, even as a 2018 device, and also comes with the S Pen stylus, which we now see in like the Galaxy Ultra out of 2022. So yeah, overall great device for the price and still worth getting. So the next device coming in at number 2 is the 2017 flagship from Apple, the iPhone 10, or as most of you will call it, the iPhone X. When this was first released in 2017, it cost about $1,000, which was clearly insane, but that was a couple years back, and now you could get this for around $220 to $260 on the used market. So this comes with a 5.8-inch OLED display, Apple calling it the Super Retina OLED. So this came also with a fresh design, better than what Apple had maintained for like the iPhone 6 to the iPhone 8 series. Also the beginning of the notch design where the Face ID components were, and the 7-megapixel wide selfie camera at the very top too. The front and back are made from Gorilla Glass and the sides from stainless steel. So without talking too much, I did drop a whole dedicated video on the iPhone 10. So if you're interested in this video or in this device, check out that video when you're done with this one. So this is the Samsung S10 and S10 Plus, coming in at number 1 at the top best smartphones to get under $300. This cost around $230 to slightly over $300. And why this is number 1 on the list is because of the value you get from this for the price. I don't really say much for now, but if you want to know why this is the best device worth getting for the $300 range, consider subscribing and hitting the bell to get notified when I drop that video. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about my ranking for these devices. But yeah, catch you guys next week. Peace.